In this video, we are going to learn how to find the exact value of trig functions involving inverse trig functions using the sum identities. In our example, we have sine of inverse tangent of -3/4 plus inverse cosine of 4/5. And we want to find the exact value of this expression. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work from the inside of the function out. So I'm going to let u equal tan inverse of -3/4, and I'm going to let v equal cosine inverse of 4/5. So let u equal tan inverse of -3/4. And we're going to restrict u between -pi/2 to pi/2. And we do this because we know that the range of inverse tan is between -pi/2 to pi/2. And now I'm going to let v equal cosine inverse of 4/5, and we restrict v between 0 and pi. And we do this because we know that the range of inverse cosine is between 0 and pi. Now we can take what we have here and replace tan inverse of -3/4 with u and replace cosine inverse of 4/5 with v. So this is equal to sine of u plus v. Now we can use the sum formula for sine. The sum formula says that this is equal to sine of u cosine of v plus cosine of u sine of v. So now all we need to do is find sine of u, cosine of v, cosine of u, and sine of v. Looking here, we see that u is equal to tan inverse of -3/4. What this means is that I can take tangent of both sides to get tan of u is equal to -3/4. And here we have v is equal to cosine inverse of 4/5. So we can take cosine of both sides to get cosine of v is equal to 4/5. Now we also know that tan of an angle takes on the value y over x. So we're going to say that this is equal to y over x. And we know that cosine of an angle takes on the value x over r. So this is equal to x over r. Next, we draw a triangle with the angle u so that we can find the value of sine of u and cosine of u. And we also draw a triangle with the angle v so that we can find the value of sine of v. So, setting this up, we have to consider our restriction for u between -pi/2 to pi/2. And since tan of u is negative, we know that the angle u must be in the fourth quadrant. So this is -pi/2 to pi/2. And the angle u must be in the fourth quadrant. So here's my angle u. And we see that my y value is -3, so y is equal to -3, and my x value is 4, so x is equal to 4. Similarly, we draw a triangle for V, but we have to consider that V is between 0 and pi. So here is 0 and here is pi. And since cosine of V is positive, we know that our angle must be in the first quadrant. So here is my angle V. And we see that my x value is 4, so x is equal to 4. And my r value is 5, so r is equal to 5. Now what we want to find for our first triangle is the value of r, and we want to find the value of y for the second triangle. And we're going to do this using Pythagorean theorem. So we know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, and I'm just going to fill in the values here. So this will be 4 squared plus -3 squared is equal to r squared. So that gives us 16 plus 9 is equal to r squared, which means we have 25 is equal to r squared. So r is equal to 5. So this means that sine of u is equal to my y value over my r value. My y value is -3, so this gives me -3 over, and my r value is 5. So -3 over 5. Also, we know that cosine of u is equal to my x value over my r value, which means this is equal to 4 over 5. So we have 4 over 5. Similarly, we solve for y using Pythagorean theorem. So we know that x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Filling in my values, we have 4 squared plus y squared is equal to 5 squared. So now we have 16 plus y squared is equal to 25, which means we have y squared is equal to 9, which means we have y is equal to 3. So this means that sine of v is equal to my y value over my r value. My y value is 3 and my r value is 5. So this is going to be 3 over 5. And cosine of v is 4/5, but I'll just go ahead and rewrite it so we have it all together. So cosine of v is equal to 4/5. Now we have everything we need to complete our problem here. So we want sine of u. So sine of u is -3/5. So here we have -3 over 5. Cosine of v is 4/5. So here we have 4/5 plus cosine of u is 4/5 times sine of v, which is 3/5. And simplifying everything, we have -3 times 4, which is -12. So -12 over 5 times 5, which is 25, plus 4 times 3, which is 12, over 5 times 5, which is 25. And this will equal -12 plus 12 over 25, which is equal to 0 over 25, which is equal to 0. And that is how you find the exact value of trig functions involving inverse trig functions using the sum identities. Thank you for watching, and always remember that you are awesome.